Hello everybody. This is for CSC 134 M1LAB. Let's go ahead and knock the assignment out. I'm going to walk you through all the steps just like we did with the first one. After a while, I'm hoping you'll get the hang of this, but I think this will be useful. Let's get rid of my old code space. I see it has no changes on it, so I don't need to keep it. So now this is probably what yours looks like. Create code space on main. Now if you have 3 or 4 code spaces, notice how it says, paid for. One person I saw had like 6 code spaces they left running for a month, and they got charged like 45 cents. It's not a big deal unless you don't have a credit card on the account. So I recommend you just delete your code spaces every so often. You don't need to have more than one at a time anyway, because you're probably not working on 2 programs at once. Okay, let me close a couple of my other pages here, sorry. Great. Once again, I'm going to walk you through the whole steps from the beginning. That looks like a good size. That's good. Okay, when you get that pop-up, you can ignore it. You probably don't get that. I think it's something I tweaked. Let me show you one thing. If you have some reason your code, when you try to type, it's auto-completing, turn off Copilot. Just turn off the code completions. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's make a new file. I'll put my mouse over here. M1LAB1 09OX. Okay. I'll try to keep this pretty short. We're going to sell something. Perfect. It's asking me to install the C++ pack. Once that starts, I can close that window and go back to my window because it recognizes I have a C++ file. Okay. Remember, IOStream is so we can use input and output. This is to save us some typing. We'd be typing std : cout instead of just cout, and it's just a waste of time to type that. All right, program looks good. Nothing in it yet, but oops, I put a character there. Let's try to run it now. One thing I want to point out, if you have an error, you can always email me. You can put your error in Gemini and see if it suggests a fix. Like I said, try not to use the code Gemini gives you, but if it says, looks like line 34 is wrong, that could be useful. This is a program that does nothing, so it should be good. And sure enough, it's good. I'm going to go back over here. Now I changed some settings here. I'm going to ignore that, but we'll do that. So I'll say started M1LAB1. Commit, sync changes. Remember, if it asks you to stage, you can hit always or just yes, but you have to stage before you commit. Let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and keep working. Okay. Okay, we're going to do all these things. If we're selling something, I'm going to say string item name equals apples. You can sell whatever you want. Please don't sell apples. Sell something different. If you have a foo, maybe you want to sell a 68 Impala or you want to sell a Warhammer Bolter, you can change this to anything. In fact, I'm going to change it from apples to widgets because that doesn't mean anything. Let's say there's 20 of them. 99 cents. Okay, great. So we're just going to be doing some math to see how much that adds up to. It's pretty simple. But it's good practice for your C in, C out, all of those things. Okay. One thing I want you to notice is there's some spaces here to make it look nicer. Let me run it really quick to show you what I mean. Okay. What if I didn't have those spaces? Well, C++ is going to do exactly what you tell it to do. So it would look like this. Obviously, this is not preferred. We want to have the spaces. So just think about that you want to have spaces there. Okay. All right. And actually, I'm going to say here, actually, we'll just assume they're ordering 20. Later, for a different version, we'll go through and say, let's ask the user how many they want, do the math for that. So we'll say here, I'll try to keep this short so that we can get it done quickly. Cost each. And let's see how that looks. Okay. I'm going to need to add a new variable. I like to add the variables up top. These are things that are talked about in the reading for CH2. Let's say here double total cost. I don't know the total cost yet, so I'm just going to make a box for it to go in called this. And the total price would be total cost equals, well, number of items times cost each. Number of items. So what I'm asking you to do is to be thinking about what the program does in terms of we put these values into different boxes, strings, ints, doubles, depending on the type of information. And then we're just doing some output. But then you have to think about, well, how do I do that output? I have to have my little symbols and my spaces. And so it's letting you practice both the ideas and the syntax, which is just sort of the wording. Things you should check for is it's pretty easy to have a typo like this, where your fingers just press the keys in the wrong order. Usually you'll see a little red message, but I want to show you what the error looks like to help you fix some of your errors. Okay, error exists. I want to say, don't do that. I think better is to say run file. And it should say, yeah, we don't want to do that. Okay. And now it's telling you here, it even says, that's not defined, did you maybe mean this? So that was pretty good. If your name is pretty close, it'll get it. Now let me show you one other error. If there's no semicolon, you'll get a strange message. Actually, I take that back. It did a great job here. It actually said, look, I expected a semicolon. And there's the missing semicolon, so I'll add that. Okay, let's look back from the top in case you might have missed anything. Because remember, I went up and down. You know, I added a few extra values, number of items, whatever they're called. I'll make them apples now to try that out, just to show that it changes. Number of items, let's make it 30. You can change these values to whatever you want. And I'm going to run it. And let me finish the program with return 0. No errors. Now, it'll return 0 whether you put that or not, but it's always a nice thing to have. So I have no errors. Welcome to the Apple store. We have 30 apples. Each cost 99 cents, $29.70. But now I would want that to have a 0 there, but we'll worry about that next time. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to say finished M1LAB. It may take you a little longer depending on the typing speed, but hopefully this won't be too bad. Again, if it says stages, if it says stage changes, you can hit always to avoid that pop-up. And then I hit sync changes. If you get a pop-up here, you can say yes. Generally, just agree to whatever it's asking you for those. I don't like to say agree to whatever it's clicking, but in this case, you should be good. Okay, now that I've done that, I want to go back to my repository and I'm going to refresh it. And sure enough, here's my file. Right? Looks good. I'm going to take this link, copy it, and that's what I submit to Blackboard. GitHub.com, blah, 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 the file name at the end. Yours probably will say something like M1LAB last name or M1LAB1. You might want to put your name on the end of the files for convenience, but you can also just leave it as M1LAB1.cpp. Thanks a lot. I hope that was somewhat helpful, and we'll see you next time.